Good evening, friends, from FordgeWorld Aibal, Monkworks, another video. This one's on old school tabletop wargaming 28 millimeter. Back in the day, uh, you could create your own groups before there were kits and books and copyrights and all this stuff. Uh, and that's kind of what I did with this old school plays as army that I made with Space Rangers. So, uh, this takes a little imagination outside the box of reading all the fluff and everything from different companies to come up with your own stuff, your own ideas. A lot of my friends laugh, but they also think it's kind of cool too. Uh, this is the emblem of the World War II U.S. Army Rangers that I got off the internet. And that is the Ranger emblem for my Space Rangers that plays as Space Marines. So what you do is you have to find out whatever you can about them. I did. And then you start making stuff up, that's reasonably believable. So the U.S. Army Rangers have quite a bit. So I took the Ranger Creed for the U.S. Army Rangers and reworded it a little bit for Space Rangers. My Space Rangers wear the Ranger tab. Basically, they are a continuance in the modern day world of basically the U.S. Army Rangers and other Ranger type units within today's military. Then what we did was my wife's quilting stuff, created a bio. So I went and tried to round up every bit of information that I could find from boxes, internet sources. I used some historical fact, and I used a little bit of historical lore, and just kind of jumbled it all together into something that made sense. And I created the history of the Space Rangers. And BE stands for before the Emperor. So that way I could use things that are going on today leading up to some stories that have come about in some of our game systems. So I play with a lot of 40K guys, so I used before the Emperor because a lot of 40K guys, they don't really know until Horse Heresy and a little bit of what happened on Terra. So I kind of bounced off a little bit of that for my own. This just for purposes. This is my own copy. I do not make copies for anyone else. This is my personal thing that I have created, and I have tried to stay away from things that are copyrighted. But I would never share this with anyone else. So we have that said. But this is the bio on how the Space Rangers came about. On their box, that was the name of the planet that they were originated from. They have a little of a Native American lore with them, and I've tried to kind of make up most of the rest. This is their motto: "Silent strikes on, or death strikes on silent wings." And right now, I have their story up until so far is the 30th century, 2901 to 3000 before the Emperor. So, and then I'd figure I would fill it in more later. But I had a beginning biography. That way, when I put the troops out, they're like, hey, there's no Space Rangers. And I'd be like, yes, there is. I was like, it's not all just Buzz Lightyear. And, kind of make a formal gathering of things so someone could thumb through it if they wish to before we played. Again, this is my plays as Army, so Uh, some of the stats from some of the game systems that I play in are used for my Rangers. Again, they play as Marines. When I do 40K, other things, are other things. But I just wanted to show you guys old school cool, how before there were books that cost $30 to over $100 and figures and everything. This is how you had to do it. You had to use your imagination. It was an art form. Well, it still is an art form, but you had to use your imagination more. White Dwarf even gave you a little story, and you had to go on from there or make things up. Also, White Dwarf used to give plans and things for you to build things before there were kids. So if you run into any old school gamers, treat them right. Respect your elders, have fun, play the game, and share the imagination. So, from FordgeWorld Aibal, Monkworks, signing off.